Welcome back to the Meeple Marathon and our continued coverage of Descent: Legends of the Dark by Fantasy Flight Games. In our unboxing video, we took a look at what was in the box. We took a look at the miniatures, the cards, the actual box itself. Today, I want to take a look at basically all the cardboard. So we're going to take a quick minute or two here to punch all this stuff out, and then we're going to take some time, along with our instructions here, assembly diagrams, and put together the scenery so you guys can not only see what that stuff looks like put together, but then we'll also kind of see how it fits back in the box. We'll also slow things down for things like the treasure chest, the bookshelf. I've heard people say is rather difficult, and maybe we'll see about the dragon. But other than that, this is going to be a kind of a time-lapse video. And so if you want to just see how to assemble the treasure chest, feel free to check out the links in the description below, or the bookmarks will help you jump ahead to that. So without further ado, let's get punching. Alrighty, so as I was punching through those, I felt like probably, unless you were wanting to put it on video, you'd probably actually want to sit down with this instruction booklet and be popping stuff out as you're building it, because they do label each of these parts, and you can see that on the boards here, each of the pieces is nicely labeled. But as I was punching everything out, I tried to keep stuff in similar piles. So like I have a giant pile of pillars here, and then a pile of what I believe is the chests and the well. This was the only casualty we had here. And this does not appear to be from a punch, but just factory defect or whatever. So I'll probably be able to glue this back on. Otherwise, I don't even think it's gonna be that big of a deal. It even looks like it's going to be covered up mostly. Trying to see how it's going to go in there. Yeah, we're not even going to see this portion. So, but for the most part, everything punched pretty well. There were a few sticky portions. They put so much on the punch board, and there's such organic shapes, especially on this punch board specifically, that there's not a lot of support. Once you start punching out half the board, the board itself becomes very flexy, and that's when I feel like things can get ripped. So you always want to make sure you have your hand kind of underneath and are almost pushing into your hand. It seems counterproductive, but it does help. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. We might as well start with what we've got in the middle here, and that's going to be the dragon. So again, we're probably going to speed this up again at the end of the day, because this should look pretty straightforward. So if we get to a tricky part here, we'll slow things down. All right. All right, so you can see here already, here's his like upper portion of his ears or neck, and this is the lower portion. So we need to find our other one of these. Here we go. So there's a difference between these two. You can clearly see it there. And then what else do we need here? L18 and L19, which are going to be these two pieces right here. So looks like we need to take this guy and slide him in right here. Oh, we forgot the horn right off the bat. Which one of these is the horn? Ah, this guy. Okay, so he's going to go in the center here. Like that. We've got the two big ones on either side of it. Alright. Then we're going to take the big piece in the back, assuming with the 3 notches. Does not appear to be, and see how there's notches here and here. So we're going to aim for these 2 notches right there. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm actually thinking I've done this backwards now. Okay, so I figured it out. My first mistake was that I was putting these 2 pieces, sliding them in adjacent to this middle fin. It's not super clear here. Obviously, this arrow looks like it's coming out of the middle section. You know, this one's clearly going into the middle. This arrow, in my opinion, makes it look like it's going to the next gap over. But what it really does, if you look, say, at this picture, they've actually slotted in all the way to the outside here. Well, that makes a huge difference because then they push in further past, and this thing actually no longer gets in the way. So this thing went further down, and I did flip it over so that the 2 spaces go in, 2 spaces go in. Then this fits okay on the bottom here. Everything is fit pretty snugly except for these 2 pieces, but I'm assuming the neck then will attach to these 2 notches here in the middle. But there we finally have the head. So let's move on with the dragon claws here. These look to be pretty straightforward here. These look like they could be either way, but we're basically just going to pop in some claws curving in on each hand. Alright, so there we have it. There we have our 2 sets of claws. Now we can get to the dragon body. So we need this and his pelvic bone here. And it would appear that it's going to go right in this notch right here. Again, this picture right here is completely worthless, but looking down here and down here, I can see that it's basically hitting the middle of the second bone there. And so if we slide this guy in here, yep, that's where it's hitting. 1, 2. All right. And then we need this piece underneath to stabilize. And then all of the vertebrae, which appear to be the exact same size. So we will just start anywhere and start putting these in. And there we go. All right, so he's got a body. Now we just need to add the head, the claws, and put it all together. So let's go ahead and put his claws on first. There you go, and there you go. I definitely, I've seen it done before, so I'm pretty confident that this is going to fit in the box assembled. I really don't want this thing sitting out. It's nice, but it's not that nice. This would be a pain to have to put together. All right, so we're aiming to hit these two notches with these two notches here. He's definitely looking down, and that went on nicely there. So there we go, and 2 sets of wings. Okay, so there is a difference here, a right and a left. With the spots facing forward, the back sides aren't quite as, can't see the bones. All right, but there you have it. It is a little wiggly wobbly, so probably you could, assuming once we're confident that this is going to fit into the box, glue it back together or glue it together. This wouldn't be the worst thing displayed on a shelf in your game room, but again, I can probably think of a lot better stuff to display. So there you have it. There is the dragon statue. All right, so let's take a look now at, let's put this guy off to the side. Let's take a look at starting back at the beginning, building some barricades. These are super straightforward. There is a right and a left. There's 2 pieces with this like a gray piece and 2 pieces without. And I don't think it really matters at the end of the day. Just make a cross and slide them together. There we go, 1 barricade. We're gonna go ahead and do both of them because they're so super simple. And two barricades. Okay, we're rolling now. All right, there's a couple tables over here. Actually, there's 3 of them. So there's all these pieces that I set aside together. These. Now what's interesting is that all of these in the picture, it makes it look like there's actually something on the table, but these are all quite blank. So what am I missing here? I don't feel like I'm missing anything. This is the exact shape I need. There's no stickers anywhere. There's nothing else we're going to be building. So yeah, these are going to be the tables, but where's all the fun stuff? Just 3 blank tables. All right, so there is a difference here. 3 where the notch is in the bottom, 3 where the notch is in the top. So we fit them together, and then I think you make kind of a, instead of a plus, an X. And then these will fit. So yeah, where's all the artwork on top of the table? I ask. Asking for a friend. So these don't quite sit amazingly well. There we go. That's a little better. Get it down on there. So there's a table. Might as well just knock these other 2 out here. Definitely helps if you like push them on at least one side. You're going to be able to push one set on versus pushing down. That corner got bent up a little bit there. So be careful with these corners here. They're very thin, especially on the outsides here. And the last one. It's a little disappointing that they you know, completely whiffed on the graphics that were supposed to be on here. And that went together pretty quickly. All right, so we got some tables. Let's set those off to the side. Now we've got some wooden tables. So it's going to be these three here, and all of these little horseshoe type pieces. Again, there's ones with notches going up, notches coming down. We're going to make a plus sign with these so that it fits over top of this. And again, see, okay, so these actually have stuff on them. They just appeared to have whiffed with the tables, the stone tables. So make sure you put the artwork facing up on these tables. Probably just push down on them like that. There's one. There we go. Two. And three. So there's our three bar tables. All right. Then we've got one cauldron here. Again, notch going up, notch going down. Make a cross. Yep, make sure you put the green side aimed up. Oh, so I've got it upside down. Make sure you have it the right side up. There you go. Just like the table. And then we've got this fancy lectern here. What did I do with my little lectern pieces? Here they are. So the lectern's going to need a book, very small book, candles, one side. Okay, so this funky piece here creates the base with the candles. This is what you set the book onto, and then the book's going to sit on top. So let's take these two pieces here and make our cross with them. Then this piece is going to go down on either side of the candle and over this center piece, and it is going to sit at an angle. Maybe not. Maybe it does go all the way flat. It appears to sit flat. Then we're going to take the book, put the book on at an angle. The book is tricky. I feel like I'm going to bend it, but I didn't. Alright, so the picture makes it seem like this is meant to be flat, the table's meant to be flat, but the book is meant to be at an angle. Alright, so there's our lectern. And then here's our well. So this is my one piece that got damaged, but again, looking at the pictures, I think we're not even going to have to worry about that. There's a piece like this, and then 4 stone walls. So we're going to take the ones with the 3 notches, 1, 2, 3, and we're going to create a box using the ones with the 2 notches, 1, 2, coming down. So make sure the 3 notches ones are pointing up and the 2 notch ones are going down. I guess at the end of the day it doesn't make a huge difference because you can just flip them over. but you want to make sure that your notches, both third notch in the middle, they're both pointing in the same direction. All right, so you've got yourself a little box. Then we're going to take this larger piece here with these two notches sticking up, and it just fits in there into those center notches. All right, then this is when we've got these two pieces here. So it says to build the roof first. I'm actually wanting to just see how this fits on here. Decide what I want to do with this dangling piece here. Okay, so it's going to show more than I thought. These don't actually go all the way down, but we'll probably be able to come back in and glue this down. I'll probably keep it on the inside for right now. So these are meant to just kind of go as far down as the top of the brick wall here, not all the way down the side, which is what I thought would happen, and then it would have been hidden inside that wall, but that didn't happen. Oh, you know what I forgot to do is, okay, see, you guys can watch me make all the mistakes. We got to put this in before we put the roof on. All right, there, these will now push down far enough. Yeah, I think we'll still stick with it that way. I may just end up ripping it off. These do actually go all the way down now. And then two roofs. Boom, boom. I feel like the roofs are easier to go on once you've got their supports locked in somewhere. All right, so there's our well, our old well. What do we got next? All right, some archways. So we've got two archways here, which are very obvious. And then we need some pillars. So the reason you can, or how you can tell these apart from the other ones, is that these actually have both the top and the bottom. Whereas you can see here's a large pillar. This is just meant to hold up the 3D terrain. Does not have a top. It's got this wavy, it looks like it's been cut off. So we should be able to easily find our 4 pillars we need. And then again, these are just gonna, don't think it matters in any particular order. Slide these all the way up. Oh, don't push them too far, because you want it to be level. So what I'm going to do is leave a little bit, it's sticking out on the bottom, just a hair, and then we'll come here and push down like that. All right, there's one archway. Again, leave a little hanging off, and then push down. Now it's level. All right, we are most of the way through here. Bookshelf. All right, so this is one of the tricky portions. We've got 4 back sides of the bookshelf. They're all the same. Then yeah, there's this, and then this is actually going to go behind it, so it's going to sit like that. And what's interesting is that the artwork, again, does not match up. Here you can see the skull is up here. So they obviously put this together before they had a final product. Also, this has the things coming in from the left, whereas they're going to be coming in from the right. So let's just take our time here and build one. So I'm going to need 2 that are notched like this. 2 sides that appear to be symmetrical, so you could flip them around either way. I need 1 that's not notched at all, and then a second one that's not notched at all. Okay, and actually there is a difference here. you can see this one has a little pattern around the outside. And so this is the top. This one does not on either side. So the one with the pattern we're going to put on top here. All right. So coming from the right instead of the left, we need to put the skinnier end out front. So basically creating these tiny little shelves. Not very deep, but small shelves. We're going to slide these in, hopefully. All right. One there and one there. All right. So again, the smaller strip is up in front with the picture, and the larger, thicker thickness is going to be tucked into the back. Okay. So then what I'm going to do here is take one of these sides, making sure this big long notch is towards the back. Go ahead and pop it on these two slots right here. All right. Then I'll take the one with the decorative trim and the nice rounded edge, as opposed to this is a much more sharp edge on the back, much flatter looking. We're going to put the rounded edge towards the front. Do the same thing down here. Rounded edge. Put the flat, sharp edge towards the back. All right. So we've got all of our shelves. Let's go ahead and put our other side on again, making sure this is towards the back. This large notch going from the top halfway down. We'll just marry all these up here. There we go. And then this does not appear to matter. It's the same on both sides. Slides in the back and it's going to lock everything together. I feel like I'm putting together IKEA furniture. Ooh. Definitely a little bendy here. All right, put that one in there. It's a little bendy back here, but that's in the back. And there is our bookshelf. That's not bad. It's not a bad little piece of scenery. All right, so I'm going to build the rest of these off to the side because that took a little bit longer than expected. Let's look at the trees now. So there's 3 trees and 2 different bases. So these are dark bases and this one's green. And if we look at our trees here, I definitely do have ones with like fungus growing on them, ones without anything growing on them, and ones with moss growing on them. So I'm assuming that the 2 moss trees are going to go together. This should be pretty straightforward. Slide them in, and we're going to put the moss onto the green base. Makes perfect sense to me. Now these feel like you might want to glue them together. Like that these would pop off easily. But there you go. And I'm going to put, I'm going to keep the tree with the fungus, the one fungus tree all together. I guess you could flip them around if you wanted to. You could mix and match these all you wanted to. It's your game. At the end of the day, you can do whatever you want with it. There's another tree. And last but not least, you just got to make sure you marry up a one with the slot going down and one with a slot going up. All right, there we go. There's our 3 trees. And moving on, we have some gates. These are also pretty straightforward. There's 2 different types of, there's a door and then there's a gate. These you'll want to punch out. But that's just going to make a big mess right now, but let's go ahead and do it. All right, so you've got some wooden ones here for your various doors. You even got a door with a gold trim. There appears to be only wooden bottoms or a few metal looking bottoms. So you just basically, these are like your standard standee setup here. This is very straightforward. So there's a metal gate, and here is a wooden door. Again, there's more of these over here. We're not going to put all of them together on camera. All right, so now we've gotten to the part that I've heard has given people the most trouble, and that is the treasure chests. So, I mean, following the directions, I don't see how people should get all that concerned here. There are a couple different treasure chests. There's a black, a gold, a silver, and like a gray. And there does appear to be matching bases for each. So let's make sure we get these all matched up here. Boom, 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 and black, black. All right, but just taking black for example, if you hold it this way, it's very smooth. You hold it this way, you can definitely feel the ridges. Well, the ridges are there so you can actually open it up. So you want to bend it so that the ridges continue to open up. You know, I'm hearing a little bit of popping right here along the edge. The sticker's kind of pulling apart from itself, but that's going to have to happen. So we're just going to keep gently bending this till we've created kind of a loop like that. And then we're just going to push in one side here. And then we will fold it over, slide it down. A little smushed, a little smushed. There you go. You can kind of fiddle with it. So it's not the best looking from the side. It looks okay from this direction. Looking at it from the side, it's a little funky. There, if I do that, maybe that's a little better. These definitely feel like could have used a little bit of work. So let's do another one here. Let's go ahead and just take our time gently folding down each one this time. Boom, 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 boom. All right, let's get it nice and folded. Let's try and stick them both in kind of at the same time. See, that's a problem. I don't want to push down from the top. I don't want to push down right here because that's just going to squish it. Okay. Again, you just kind of have to take your time. You'll get there. Like this one's looking a little bit better. Again, this is fun to do one time, but I definitely, this one looks better in general. Definitely would not want to do this every single time out. But obviously that's what they have created this unique box set up for. All right, so last but not least, we have got some staircases. So you have a whole bunch of pieces like this. You're going to need 2 of those, and then you're going to need 2 of these big pieces and 1 skinnier piece. The skinnier piece, let's save that for last. So these 2 have a notch. So we're going to put the notch in there, and then the holes are going to fit right there. So let's get 1 in here. Okay, the hole's much bigger than this little notch needs to be, so that's good. They're not too hard. You don't have to get it perfectly lined up here. Alright, and once you get the first one in, the rest of these should be pretty easy. And I was right. Once everything is kind of stiffer for you, we are good to go. Alright. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a set of steps. So the last thing we've got here is the pillars. Now, the pillars, the columns, which are on the back side here, the only tricky part with the columns is that there is columns without really anything on it but some moss, and there's some columns with the gargoyle heads on both sides. So obviously it should come pretty straightforward because the gargoyle ones, the notch is going down, and these plain ones, the notch is going up. But you always want to match up gargoyle heads with non-gargoyle heads. Other than that, you're just going to be creating a whole bunch. There's several of these over here, pillars like this, and this again is what kind of holds up the scenery and gives it some levels. So here's the shorter ones. Again, no gargoyles, matched up with gargoyles. Slot going down, slot going up. And there we go. All right. So let me take some time to put the rest of this together, and then we'll just give a nice overall shot here of everything kind of set out so you can see how everything looks. All right, so here is a completely random scene setup. This has no bearing on any scenario whatsoever. I just wanted to put as much out there as possible. The various levels you can see. I even brought out the big box. What's interesting is that the big box does not have any squares on it, so I'm wondering if you're just supposed to like lay pieces like this on top because there's no differences. So I'm really curious as to what they're going to use that for. But other than that, also the stairs are only one piece. So essentially it's like make it onto the stairs, and then I guess as you come off the stairs you could either go here or here, which seems fine. I don't think it should be a big deal, but the scenery works, everything's put together. And again, I would not want to do this over and over again, but doing it once was kind of a semi-fun experience. And I feel like this is going to add a lot to the game, just the immersion factor. Now, getting these on here was a little bit fiddly, and so that will definitely have to weigh in on once we have spent some time actually setting up a scenario according to the directions in the app, and how long does that take. It was one thing to snap together some tiles like this, but they were all laying flat. It's another to set up something like this. So we'll see how fiddly this scenery ends up making things. But for now, I just wanted to let you guys see what kind of everything looks like set up and the scale of things. The scale does work. Here are two the larger heroes, and they fit nicely on there. There's just kind of a random size monster up there. So yeah, again, everything scales really well, looks good. And let's see how everything fits back in this box right here. Alright, so here is everything in the box. There's actually a ton of room still available. It gets pretty close over here, but the question is whether or not there's room to stack all these up on the bottom, but that's definitely the way you're going to want to go. Not dump them on top like a few reviewers I've seen have it work, but that also means that whenever you wanted to set up for your scenario, you're going to have to empty the box. That's not ideal. It would be ideal to just have everything sitting like this. Now, everything pretty much is in there except for the trees, but the trees, easily can they're so kind of odd shaped that I just would lay them down somewhere, and they kind of sit on top of everything, but I didn't want them to block everything. So, basically the dragon statue is obviously laying on its back, and again is almost as tall. So you would have to be careful about stacking most of your tiles, say on this end, which would then kind of raise its head up a little bit. We'll see how that works. But also, these standing up per se only have but so much room. So again, you'd want to stack all your tiles up here, but then you can see there's plenty of space up here vertically that, if the tiles were all stacked at this end, it would work. Again, everything is kind of standing up on its own, so you could easily just like pull stuff out. But if you're having all of these tiles underneath, then you're going to have to pull them out anyways. What I've not tried is whether or not you can get these into the top portion of the box and still get the miniatures on top, because obviously we want to keep the miniatures in those vac trays. They work very nicely, and that takes up most of the room in the top box. But here everything is obviously with room to spare. Coming up next is going to be our storage solution for the game. So what I'm going to attempt to do is figure out a way to get this stuff organized so they can easily be pulled out, set off to the side. You can access your tiles underneath, or if you needed to use this box as part of the scenery, you could. And then obviously figure out what to do. Right now I just have all of my tokens in here, which this may work, but I probably want to separate out at least the fatigue tokens, because we're going to be using those a lot. Also, I did go ahead and put together these things. So that's pretty much everything. That's all the cardboard. And if you've enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos, including my storage solution for Descent: Legends of the Dark, please consider subscribing to the channel. Once again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.